Hello, you are welcome to Growth Pills, where we share growth tips and strategies on personal development, business, and finance. And today we want to look at growth pills from the Bible. Our point of focus today will be on Joseph, and we'll be looking at Genesis chapter 40, verse 1 to 7. So, growth pills from the Bible, we want to learn from the life of Joseph. What are the things that we can learn from his life? So let's read 7. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, and they continued a season in ward. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his Lord's house, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? So our point of emphasis is going to be on verse 6 that says, And Joseph came in unto them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. So what is it that we want to learn from the life of Joseph today? It is a skill called observation skill. Observation skill. When you look at that verses very well, you can see it said, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. He looked upon them. So there's a reason why he looked upon them. He noticed something about them. Let's look at few versions and see how they recorded it. The next morning, New Living Translation says, the next morning, Joseph noticed the dejected look on their faces. You can see the word noticed, the dejected look on their faces. The next morning, Joseph noticed that they looked dejected. He noticed. So you saw that, you can see that King James says, he looked upon them. Then the Message translation says, when Joseph arrived in the morning, he noticed they were feeling low. He noticed. So which means he was observant. That was why he was able to take note of what was happening to them. So when Joseph came into them in the morning and looked at them, he saw that they were sad and depressed. Then New American Standard Bible says, when Joseph came in the morning, he up and observed them. Behold, they were dejected. So one thing I want us to learn from the life of Joseph is he was observant. He noticed them. He noticed a change. He noticed a change in them. These people, this is not the way they've been feeling. This is not how they usually appear when I see them in the morning. So he noticed a change around him. What is observation skill? The ability to notice salient and subtle details about a situation or a person. I take that again, the ability to notice salient and subtle details about a situation or a person, which means what you take note of, what you are noticing, is not something that is obvious, that is apparent to the physical eyes, to everybody. But because it is a skill that you have, you are able to notice that which others are not focusing on or did not even take cognizance of. But because you possess, you maintain an inquisitive mind. There's something you are looking out for in that person. You notice a change in your environment. You notice a change in your marriage. You notice a change in your body. You notice a change in your health. So it brings you to the awareness that no, there's something wrong. There's something happening. There's a change around here. So it is most times when we talk about observation, it is not something that is common to everybody, that everybody can see. It is only the person, it is only the people who are who maintain an inquisitive mind that can observe easily. And you want to look at it, how can we develop observation skill? Because whether in life, in personal life, in business, in spiritual life, in every aspect of our life, we need this skill. We need this skill. If not so, changes will be going on around us and we will not know. And don't forget, the only constant thing in life is change. Change is always happening. Minutes by minutes, day by day, months by months. So there's a need for you to be observant. There is a need for you to notice changes around you, to maintain an inquisitive mind. So how do you develop observation skill? Number one, you need to notice changes. You need to do what? To notice changes around you. Changes in your marriage, changes in your business, changes in your personal life, changes in your spiritual life, changes in your body. You will be able to detect any form of sickness that is coming up, any form of illness that is coming up when you observe your body, when you observe the changes when you notice the changes that is going on around you. So you notice what? Changes. And I would recommend a book on this, which is Who Moved My Cheese? If you can get it, it's a very good book. Who Moved My Cheese? It's less than 100 pages. You can read it in one sitting. It's a very good book for this. The second point is practice active listening. Practice what? Active listening. You need to listen actively, not just passive listening. There's a difference between hearing and listening. So you need to listen. If you are listening, you are going in depth. There's something more than what the person is saying. You are noticing body language, even the words that is left unsaid. You take note of those things. So you practice active listening. And when we talk about active listening, I'm also telling you about listening, not to give a response, but listening to understand. Because there's a type of listening that, okay, you just listen because you want to respond to what the person is saying. But we are talking about the listening that is active in order to understand the perspective, what the person is saying. Do you understand? Then the third point is you put away distractions. Stay in the moment. When you want to develop observation skill, when you want to notice things around you, you really want to be observant, I need to tell you that there's a need for you to put off distraction. Stay in the moment. Do you understand? Don't let your mind be going to and fro. Focus on what you want to do. Do you understand? Focus on what you are noticing. Focus on what you are observing. Don't be distracted. Don't let your mind be going into the past, into the future. Stay in the moment. Stay in the present. Do you understand? And the next one is pay attention to details. When we talk about how to develop observation skill, we are talking about paying attention to details. Even the things that are left unsaid. Do you understand? The subtle and the salient points. Pay attention to details. Don't just assume. Don't presume. Do you understand? Assumption is the lowest level of knowledge. When you assume things, you may not really understand. Do you understand? So pay attention to details whenever you are observing. Then the last one is stay inquisitive. Maintain a mind of inquiry. Ask questions. Do you understand? Even when the person has said something, you can still ask a further question. You can still ask further for clarification. Do you understand? This is how some of the ways, 5 ways by which you can develop an observation skill. Then we want to quickly look at benefits of observation. Benefits. Joseph was able to solve the problem of the butler and the baker because he was observant. You will be able to solve the problems around you in business, in career, in your family, in your personal life when you are observant. And you remember that it was the solution that he provided to the butler that eventually announced him in future, that later announced him 2 years after. So you never can tell where this will take you to. When you are observant, you notice a change in buying patterns of your customers. You notice the trend in your industry. You are the cutting edge of your industry. You notice a little change in your employees. Do you understand? You notice a change in your children. You notice a change in your spouse. You notice a change around you. It will help you in every aspect of your life. So it is not just in business. It is not just in career, but it is a skill that is relevant holistically. Do you understand? So let's quickly look at the benefits of observation. Appropriate response to changes. It helps you to respond appropriately to changes around you. Whether the change is internal or external, it helps you to respond appropriately. You are not reacting. Do you understand? It's number 2, it improves your perception. It improves your perception, the way you see things. When you are observant, because you have paid attention to details, you have noticed the changes around you. So it improves the way you see things. It helps you to understand, to comprehend the details or in a particular matter, in a situation or in a person. Then the last one, it helps you to make better decisions. When your perception has been improved, then you can be rest assured that you will be able to make better decision. So I think with this we have learned from the life of Joseph today how Joseph was able to solve the problem of the butler and the baker. Even though one was positive, the other was negative. Nevertheless, he still solved their problem because he was observant. He noticed them. He noticed a change on their countenance. He noticed a change when he saw them in the morning. Had it been he did not notice that change, he wouldn't have been able to solve their problem for them. And remember, it is that problem that he solved in the prison that brought him to notoriety. So, whether as a business person, as a career person, as a wife, as a husband, as a father, as a mother, I want to tell you, in whatever vocation you find yourself, this is a skill that you need. Until we meet in our next video, if you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe and press the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we drop a new video. And kindly hit the like button as well. Until we meet in the next video, thank you.